Welcome, everyone, to the 319th weekly MLP Drawing School live critique stream. It's already April 12th? Yeah, 12th? Today's 12th.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
so. Yeah. And, the same as always, we got a hilarious gaggle of people here. There's Alley Claw,
Hello.
Pixin Up,
Uh,
there's a CPC hidden in the background, likely fluffing and adding knives to things. There's a Fluffy's Eye,
Hello.
and a Vex.
Hello.
And of course you, the living dead.
Hello. All right. As always, if you got any questions, feel free to ask. If you got any comments, feel free to comment. I guess. Interaction. We'd like some days.
Yeah, ask
It would
questions.
be amazing.
All right, let's dig on into these lovely horse things. Horse. First one, top left-hand corner. It is by the Oreo Bandit. M's not watching live, right?
No, they can't make
Okay.
it tonight.
Cool, then we'll just start off regularly. The Oreo Bandit. Hey y'all, it's me again. I drew an emo pony. How'd I do?
Hell
As
yeah.
an emo pony, definitely. Color scheme checks out.
The vibe's there.
Yep. Solid vibe check. I like the style of these horses. I've seen a few other people do this. It's like a version of the little horses that they made, season 3 or 4? And it just appeared in those little short scenes.
Hmm.
But it's just
I
like,
thought we were talking about the toys
Something.
where they made that like Goth Celestia toy line.
no. Oh, wait, that was a thing?
I'll
did
share it.
what?
I'll share it. I'll share it after. It's official.
Yo, that's amazing. Okay. Yeah, that very, very good. And I like that you've broken up the chest here with that white marking. That works very well in the favor of this picture, trying to make it more readable. The background, I would tone down a bit. The background is so busy on the eyes, and I think it's because this is an optical illusion type of background. If you stare at the points, the dark points, you're going to get these little circular black dots in them, and it's very odd. I would tone it down. I maybe not like remove it, but if you were to encircle the pony with like a lighter splotch, maybe that would help it quite a bit, just to not take away the attention from the horse.
Yeah, because it's a pattern with pure white and pure black. It's very contrasting, and so it kind of pulls a lot of attention. My eyes, instead of wanting to look at the character, my eyes want to look at this pattern and just be like, "Ooh, what's going on?" So
If you if you're to take some of your colors that you have up in the ear piercings, oh, black doesn't work there. Ear piercings or your socks, I bet you could really add those into your background and help even out these tones a bit. And then you could still keep with your checkered look, or just do whatever person making it lighter is. Multiple suggestions, a bunch of different approaches to this.
yeah, many different options and all that kind of sort of stuff.
I'm interested in your choice of eyes here. So you've given them no pupil.
Who needs them?
Well, I
I
do.
mean, actually, most creatures do. Yeah, I'm not sure why they would have blank eyes.
It
Yeah, if you're
Just
doing
because
like
they're emo doesn't mean they need to be
if
soulless.
Yeah, if you're doing like the kind of no pupils look, um, having something else there in terms of like having some kind of like effect going over the eyes or something like that can help it help stop it from like feeling empty
Yeah.
unintentionally and all that sort of stuff.
Even a
It's like
faded
how
eye.
when it's like how when people draw changelings, they tend to spruce it up with all sorts of like little like effects and all that kind of
Mhm.
sort of stuff going on to like at least have like something there and make it look
Yeah,
intentional.
I see a lot like the sort of lighter, subtle people going on in there, just to give you some idea that there's construction to the eye.
Loving.
So to be fair,
Mm.
going back to the times of like my teenagedom, that was very popular for emo. Like, I don't know if you all remember those little blob guys named Pon and Z. They were
No,
like super emo. Hold on, I'm trying to find a source image.
I'm absolutely up for
Did
some
they
nostalgia.
did they have a scheme going on?
Yeah, like a whole. Hold on.
Please, please share with us emo face nostalgia,
Ponzi
Ali.
scheme?
Ah, get out, get out.
Oh my god,
Okay.
I'm definitely going to ask Inky for pictures of Emo Alley because that sounds wonderful.
No, it's
it's
fine.
got to be
Don't worry
the
about it.
drawing challenge for today. We were going to draw that.
Like these types of guys, these were all over the internet when I was a teenager.
Ah,
These guys and their whole like they were very much in the emo vibe, like, oh, the heartbreak kid who's in love, but it's a whole thing. You
Oh
had
yeah,
to
I've seen
experience
those.
it.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, they had the whole no pupil thing going on, but like the difference I'm seeing, I'm scrolling through their stuff and I didn't realize they made new stuff. This is news to me. But looking at even the oldest art, they didn't have any shading in the pupil. The shading was outside, and I think maybe the shading is kind of what's throwing it off. Because it's the same type of
makes it look
shading.
too physical.
Yeah, if you want to make it like a statement like that, it's just blank
Yeah,
eyes. I
and then it's
wouldn't.
not like an artistic. It's not like we're just seeing like the representation. It's like we're. This is literally an eyeball that has no pupil, and then it's just a bit too obvious. I think becomes a bit off-putting.
Wow, that picture's dark.
Yeah, it's very much like the yeah. Anyway,
Okay,
that's the
yeah.
vibe I get for like non-people eyes for like the emo feel of cartoon art.
All right, I get you. I get where you're going
Just,
from.
just as a devil's advocate to all you.
how dare you?
I
All
know.
of us.
How dare
Jeez.
art be subjective and multiple, ways of happening? It's crazy.
Yeah.
I believe the gist of that is you do you, but there's some suggestions for different versions of it.
Yeah,
I do love what you've done with the mane up here. I wish you could put some of that into the tail, even just a few streaks of it.
I like CPC's kind of interpretation. That's really cool. It's almost having like the pose sort of reinforce the spooky-ish kind of vibe.
Where's CPC's version of it? There it is.
Just below it.
Just underneath. Yeah.
Dang
You can see
framing
how
it.
like you can see how in this pose they're like kind of seem almost like unsure and steady on their hooves kind of sort of thing. Looks fun. What?
My chair just squeaked at this thing.
Oh, I thought someone was screaming. I was like, oh my god, please.
Anyway, shall we move on to the next one?
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah.
All right. Our next horse is submitted by Brilliant Carpenter 6. The sketch was so cool, I really messed up with the line. Or the sketch was so cool, but I really messed up with the line art. My hand was so shaky out of the blue, and the back legs are so funny. XD.
So yeah, it's hard to
Yeah.
get the line art steady when you're doing pens.
Especially because you don't want to go fast. There's no erase button. There's no Control Z.
Yeah.
No going back.
But you gotta go fast.
Gotta do it.
Like Sonic says.
I didn't know Sonic was known for artistry.
Of course. So I do almost solely or almost only traditional art, and I completely agree with the pens just taking me out here. What I like to do is make sure I'm line arting in the same sort of sitting as doing the undersketching. The reason I do that is because I still have the motions in my muscle memory, I want to say. Like you've already felt out your lines, so you've done your few, okay, maybe I'll do the hip here, let's just, a bit of correction. You've done those lines, and you've been able to work them out in the pencil, which is fixable. And then you get down to the pen, and you go, all right, here we go. Let's hover it, and don't screw up. Yeah! And then you do screw up, and you promptly give them, I don't know, a tattoo or crack out some white eraser and hope that you can pull it up. Sometimes it works, most of the time it doesn't.
And off to the side in red, somebody's doing a great exercise you can actually do. And you can just take like whatever kind of cheap paper you have lying around. It can be anything from like a piece of printer paper or like even an old newspaper or something. But you take that pen you're using that you want to practice with because, the pen has a different feel than the pencil. So you want to use, you really want to use that to get the feel. But what you do is you just say you put down like 3 dots. And the idea is the first step you'll do, and I sadly can't demonstrate it super well without physically showing my hand, but I'll draw just for the sake of showing. What you'll do is something called ghosting, and you'll basically just hover over your starting dot, and you're gonna pretend to do the stroke, and you're gonna pretend to hit all 3 dots in your ghost, and you're going to practice that stroke like 1 or 2 or 3 times, maybe a couple more. Really get that motion feeling, like feel for the dot connection, and then you're going to go and you're going to attempt it. You're going to attempt in one foul swoop to hit all those dots to get that curve you want. And it's not going to work out great the first couple huge amounts of times. It's an exercise, right? So you're going to want to keep building it up. But you keep practicing and doing stuff like that, you're going to learn that control. Your eyes and your hand or in your brain are all going to work together and kind of start connecting the dots for just the whole idea of making those strokes, making those nice bold strokes, and not like how you said your hand was very shaky, and that usually shaky hands come from going very slowly. It's not actually that super beneficial to go slow in art. The key is confident strokes, no matter the speed, if you're confident with it. But yeah, ramble. Just put some dots down, do a little ghosting practice, go over it
Mm.
a few couple times, and then go for your big old confident stroke to try to do it. It can pay off. You just got to do it a bunch. Good
Yeah.
exercise.
120%. The ghosting is basically like, so say that these three are points. Ghosting is where basically you'll do this, but like keep your hand just a little bit off of the paper. So just tracing it out before you go in for the final one. And sometimes the final one will be awful, and that's okay. 'Cause it's all practice.
Hmm.
But this looks fun. I like it. I think with this pose, it's like got some good energy. Got some good like. You've got these two like far hooves close together, and these two close hooves kind of far away, which is good. It's just these angles are pretty difficult to kind of get down properly. So reference can probably help.
All right, shall we move on to our next lovely horse?
Yeah.
Keep it up. Maybe next time we'll see them with manes and tails.
Oh my god.
So our next picture is Rainbow Dash.
Oh,
There
that's
is
fun.
4 versions of them. Oh, this is by Childish Doll. There's 4 versions of them. Chose the black one because it's got some wicked contrast. Although I do gotta say the second last one, I want to say, the blue with some black outlines, I do like that one the most as a poster. It would show up very well as a poster, or even a T-shirt.
Heck yeah. Looks fun. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
You can make this wing a bit bigger, I think. Free to go crazy. Something else to keep in mind that might help your poses look more dynamic and interesting is this concept called contra pose. And what it basically means is that the shoulders kind of tilt one way and the hips tilt another way. Like if we look at how they're positioned at the moment, it's pretty like that. That's pretty like that. It doesn't quite look as dynamic as it could look if, for example, you have the shoulders kind of positioned like this and then the hips kind of tilted like that. So there's like a bit of like a, something like that in there. And then this side's a little bit like more, less. Yeah. I don't know. Look up contrapose. That might be interesting and fun.
Really like what you've done with the hair, with the light
Mm.
blue outlines and stuff. What's the not the contrast, but it reminds me. Well, actually, yeah, it reminds me of when you. I don't know if you've ever done this, but back in the day for video games, you'd crank up the contrast a lot to essentially cheat, because lighting was not a good thing back in the days. So you'd crank it up and see stuff, but your lighting would become like these flat, matte colors thrown on everything, and that's the feel I get from this.
Heck yeah.
With those like
This.
different outline colors, one thing to keep in mind is usually darker colors in your outlines will be where there's shadow, and lighter colors will typically be where light would hit it. So, for
Mm,
example, down here by the stomach, it would actually probably look better. You have the dark outlines there, and in
mm,
areas with a lot of shadow contrast there. That just helps the eye. It just looks better because that's where we expect the shadows to be. So that's where darker line art might be a little bit more beneficial than just, as far as I can tell, it seems a little bit random where your outlines are.
mm.
So just something to keep in mind to keep it a little cleaner looking.
Yeah. I think that this area in particular is a little bit difficult to kind of work out. I think that's an area where looking at some reference might be useful. I think if this is like coming across, this is actually like raise up a little bit down here because this like part of the hip here is kind of like coming like forward and up a little bit to kind of come across. But in general, nice job. It's hard to do human poses, and I think that this tackles it really dang well. You should do more.
Yeah, looks good.
Super fun, very colorful. I like the chalky glow vibe.
Hmm. You can see actually CPC or someone is doing a bit of a sketch down here where they've sort of put this thigh here kind of more forward facing, and like almost foreshortened in this area. So yeah, all kinds of different ways you can do it and have fun.
This outfit does scream Rainbow Dash, though.
Mhm.
Colorful everything.
Yep.
Very sporty looking. All right, shall we move on to our next horse?
Yeah.
Do it.
All right. This one is Luna by Liffy32. No questions asked.
Here's a princess horse.
Yeah. One thing I'm very quickly seeing here, and it's might be hard because we made the image a bit smaller. We have lost the side of the face. So if I remove that red line, you can see the mane has completely pulled over her cheek and into her muzzle, but left the eyeball floating there.
Mhm.
Yeah, just a little bit of a side cheek is going to be showing there, but it's enough that it isn't lost, and that is comically easy to do. Losing little elements that are overlapped by other elements. Sometimes it helps flipping the picture, rotating it about, just getting a different view on it to try and pick up on these small elements. I do love that galaxy floating in her mane, though. So starry.
Yeah, heck yeah. This, well, whenever you're drawing Luna, this like front bit of hair is always something to keep in mind. I think that's one of the areas that like really defines the look of her character for me. Sort of separates her from Celestia. So keeping in mind that like sort of twisty kind of thing would probably be useful in terms of helping define Luna. Honestly, I'd probably even just bring her like muzzle out a little bit to stick out more. But that's just me.
One thing about horses that's a little bit different from humans is that their necks arch outwards instead of curving in. So that's something just to keep in mind in this area, is that it's never going to really go back in on itself. It's just going to be one outward curving line for the most part until you get to about the shoulder area where it'll go a little bit more out. So I'm not really sure if this is meant to be the outline of the neck right here, or if it's just because the hair's overlapping it. If it's the case where the hair's overlapping it, I just make that overlap a little bit more defined. By either like getting rid of the hair behind it or the hair down here. Why is it not working? Hello. There we go. To help kind of show that that's hair overlapping. Or just taking out the hair overlapping it all together and keeping it that it's behind it. Make that neck look a little bit more natural.
Heck yeah.
Very good picture, though. Like the lineless style that you've gone with here.
And you can add whatever it's called if you want. Let's see. This. I think the center line is actually somewhere around here, so I'll probably have that coming over in that kind of way. That's just me. I don't know. Have fun.
That is the gist of art. Have fun.
Yep. Yep. You can see a ghostly apparition up here haunting Luna.
It's the moon horse.
I think I'm going to assume that this is probably TPC or someone. I don't know.
That's
But
me.
oh, okay, fair enough. Trying to show off the lighting.
Yeah, I was just trying to show when you're looking at a horse's head in 3D, right now the face here, let me get a different color. That might be helpful. Uh the face you have going on here is like, if we look at this green head circle drawn, it's almost as if um like the plane of the face would be more here for like a 3/4 view, but the eye and the cheek area have kind of been plunged out sideways, where if you look at a horse, the kind of the bridge, the nose bridge, will block out that area a little more. So you won't actually see as much of the eye because she's so turned away from us at that point. I was just trying to demonstrate kind of like the horse muzzle. If that makes sense. We don't want her face floating off her skull. It's you gotta remember to wrap it around the ball instead of just a plate. Mm-hmm.
Anyone else have any comments on this lovely horse?
I love it. Draw more horses.
Yeah, it's really fun.
You're doing great.
Heck yeah.
We'll add. We should add in nostrils. I believe yours was more centered. I can't get it over this layer. Whoever has done face. Yeah. Oh, now she has a mustache. Anyway, moving the nostrils off just slightly. Oh, what am I doing here? What am I doing? Wee little nose holes. Just, get the oxygen in.
Nah, it's, moon horse doesn't need oxygen. Jeez.
All right, let's move on to our next picture.
Just disappeared, but oh, it's back again. The Sharpedo is now spinning knives, so that's great.
All right,
Lots of cute times happening.
our next picture is by M, and they are asking, having trouble trying to get everything to match the level of complexity of the boots. Supposed to be spikeweed,
These are some metal boots.
Yeah, those are
spikeweed,
awesome.
spike rock theme, using the designs from the first Plants vs. Zombie games, as well as using 2 shades of brown and gray. Where you pull your inspiration from is fantastic. I want to rent a spot in your mind for a bit just to check out this library, because it is a wild place. I love it.
Heck yeah. I think you don't necessarily need to match the complexity of the boots everywhere. It's kind of that case where having contrast can like direct the eye. So I kind of honestly like how the boots are crazy complicated and all that sort of stuff. And then there's a little bit less complex through here. And then the complexity kind of shows itself in some different areas. So just be aware. Be aware of that. Also, oh no, the horn. What happened?
That's just a flesh wound.
I think especially here, that's kind of pulling my eyes a lot. So doesn't need to be this character, but I'd probably just go over with like something to hone down the light there. So maybe they're wearing tights underneath that somehow didn't get ripped.
So I'm trying to think because they said they wanted to if they still their goal is to have everything is like overly designed as the shoes. Um I think a source of inspiration I'd point to is any kind of doll line, any kind of like especially ones that have had like shows or cartoons and like in recent years I'm trying to think like there's the Ever After High and Monster High dolls and stuff, even the cartoon designs. They have their whole thing is overly designed outfits for the sake of overly designed outfits. And it's honestly it's fun. It's great. And there's a lot of other doll lines like that out there. And if you want to get more ideas to have that kind of balance of the overly designed accessories look, I would definitely check those out, see how they kind of put together stuff because they cover all sorts of fashion trends. And it could be worth looking at. I know for sure there's always like punk rocker and all the other like chains and all the fixins. Just to get a better idea for how to layer things and add more. Because if you do want more to the top, they might have some ideas for you to just kind of like balance out the top and
Oh,
the bottom.
You can see someone doing an amazing sketch there. I love it. I love the idea of kind of adding some attention to this eye by having like some eyeshadowy kind of stuff above it or something like that. Or what you could do is hell yeah, spike glasses. I love it.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
what I like to do to kind of show off what is and isn't kind of the eye lid kind of area is to have this line just be in a slightly darker color. Because right now it's difficult to tell that this is the eye sort of thing. It takes like a few seconds of like looking and searching to finally be like, oh, okay. So just it doesn't need to be much, but just like a little bit darker would probably sort of help bring attention to that more quickly. And this shoulder, kind of, if I erase this, and it just pokes out a lot, so I kind of just pulled it back in because I feel like that makes sense. I love this. I love the little sketch to the side. I also like the posing. You've got like we're talking about contrapose stuff in the other drawing, and I think this is a good like example of it. Looks good. Good job.
I do feel like possibly her closest leg is a bit longer than the further leg because her hip is turned downwards, like, yeah, on this angle, down, but so it's raised up there. That means that this leg, even though it's curved in and still with the front touching the ground, I don't know, it feels like it's longer. I'd almost want to shift her weight the other way, and that'll help imply
Yeah.
that the other leg is, taking up that load.
Yeah,
I think
the knees are about the same level, so that's probably where that's coming from. Just
That's,
raise
yeah.
this
yeah.
up a little bit.
I think just
Clearly make that difference, yeah.
pushing that like heel up could sort of help
Hmm.
the length of that compared to the length of that.
But as always, your art is wonderful. Keep it up.
Hell yeah, we love it. Or as is being drawn here, make this knee a little bit lower,
I
and
do
then you
not want to
won't
be kicked
need
with
to
these
change
boots.
anything.
Hmm.
Oh hell no. What's she? What are they carrying? I don't know. I don't get it.
Little bomb bombs? I
Little
don't know.
plant pot. It's right. They said Plants vs Zombies. I thought it was a little plot, like a potted plant thing.
It looks like they're just carrying shrapnel.
Maybe?
I don't want them to
I never
chuck
played
that
Plants
bucket at
vs
me.
Zombies, so I don't know the reference material specifically.
Oh, I think it is a plant pot, and that's like some plant that like eats things.
Oh.
I like its grumpy face. It's like a little
Oh
curmudgeon.
yeah.
All right. Will anyone else have any other art? Any other questions they'd like to ask? Any other pictures they would like to have turned into a sticker and then promptly stuck to your forehead? Because, I mean, I got a few. Just waiting for Allie to open up her custom sticker store.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
All right.
that's mostly it.
Yeah, seems like it is. Thank you all for coming, and we'll see you again next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.